Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Milk the Clock. I am Matt Frank, joined as always by Matt Salinger and Jason Rosenberg. We have a phenomenal show planned for you guys today. We're going to do some keys to the game for Thursday's matchup between the Eagles and Cowboys. We have a Milk the Clock exclusive interview with the most miserable Jets fan you've ever met coming up shortly. And then we're going to do the draft of fast food menu items. So should be a great episode. Gentlemen, we have football in like 3 days. Who's
Less than a
excited?
week. Yeah, 3 days. Jeez.
Yeah,
That's
I
Monday.
so.
I can't wait.
Shall we
So
talk about the game?
yeah, we might as well dive right into it.
Dude, wait, dude, Frank. Before I joined the meeting, I was thinking the Lorax,
I'm familiar. Yeah.
you look like him. I don't know why I put those two
Strange.
together. I think
Like,
it's the mustache, probably
I see.
the blonde hairs.
all
All right,
right.
yeah, let's run it.
Fan of the trees.
Sure. I love the trees. All right. Who's got a great key to the game that they'd like to start with?
Oh, we find one.
All right, I can start. I think this is a pretty obvious key to the game. Um, Micah Pargon. So Micah is no longer on the Cowboys, and I think we have to really see this week if they can replace him with anyone on their defense. I don't think that's the case, but I think the key to the Cowboys' success this year is if they can replace the production of Micah Parsons, which they probably cannot.
Yeah, I think that maybe Kenny Clark helps them in the run game just a touch,
He is a killer. He is
but
pretty good.
He is he is nice, but he's not Micah
but
Parsons.
Micah Parsons
Yeah.
might be the best defensive player in the league. So to replace that production, I agree, is going to
And
be
he's 26 years old.
a little rough. On that tune, my first key to the game is for Deron Bland to get spicy. They just gave him a big extension, money that probably should have gone to Parsons, went instead to Deron Bland. He has to lock AJ Brown down. If they want to stand a fighting chance in this game, he can't be bland. He has to be spicy. And he has to make AJ Brown a non-factor. They need to beat them a different way because if there is any strength to this Cowboys defense, it's their secondary, I guess. So he has to play really well.
Gotta be spicy.
Gotta be spicy.
I
He's
like it.
also
Um,
spicy.
I think a key to not just the game but the season. I think they need to ride high on Dak here. It's not, that's a terrible take, but it's an obvious.
You're supposed to come up with a funny name for it.
Oh, Dak Attack.
Yak Attack. There you go. No, I mean I agree. I think their offense has to be incredible because their defense is was already bad and they made it even worse by their own doing.
What was his good year?
Dak's been pretty solid
Yeah,
with Tampa.
whenever he's healthy, he plays
Yeah.
good football.
So to go off of that note, my next pick is Slim Pickens. I think they didn't really have a lot this offseason, except I think their big acquisition was George Pickens. So with the defense kind of regressing, let's see if Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott can have this passing game kind of carry them. I actually think it is like a top 10 passing game probably in the league. Dak is a great quarterback, two great wide receivers with a lot of talent. So if they can carry the team, then they might find some success.
Yeah, I actually had pretty much that exact key to the game. I just entitled it Demon Time. I think that not only do Pickens and CD have to have a big impact on the box score, they are two of the biggest like get in your head type receivers in the league, and I think they need to really attack the Eagles secondary physically and mentally because there's not really weaknesses on the Eagles team, but that's definitely a strength is their secondary. So they need to come out firing and they need to really throw it all over the field.
What was that, your key?
Yeah, demon time.
Oh, I got Jerry goes. So if the death of Jerry Jones was to happen, that'd probably be a pretty key factor to the Cowboys' success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I think the biggest key to this game is who's going to win the push off. Um, Obviously the tush push, but we've had a couple off seasons now to kind of figure out some sort of solution to this tush push. Somebody has to figure it out at some point. Will the Cowboys be that team? And I think season long, looking for the Eagles, everyone playing against the Eagles, you got to try something new. You got to be able to push harder than they can push. At
I,
some point, there's got to
someone,
be some defensive coordinator that can figure out a formation, a scheme, or whatever that can stop this. And I think this is year three of the tush push. It's got to be stopped at some
I
point.
think you can make an argument that the Kenny Clark acquisition was made just for stopping
Directly for the
push.
tush push.
Yeah.
The
Um,
pounds on the defensive line, like they gain pounds.
and I think it might be worth employing the strategy the Commanders tried in the NFC Championship. Although they did try to award a touchdown for the Eagles after a while, I think there's something to be said for jumping over the line. If you can time it right, that seems like the best way to stop it that I've seen.
Yeah,
So,
but I don't think that's very feasible.
you
I
know who
think
could have done that though is
some
Micah Parsons.
yes, some defensive coordinator at some point is going to come up with a scheme that can figure this out. This is the third year. Like I've had two full off seasons of it. There's all the discussion this off season. Someone's got to figure it out.
Yeah, I hope so. I really
That's,
do.
I think that's the key to the Eagle season. If that can get stopped, I think they're a bottom tier team in the NFC.
That's a crazy take, but okay. All right, my last key to the game is for your sake, Jerry. I hope this works. I think the hiring of Brian Schottenheimer was probably the worst of the head coach hirings. It just was the one that made the least amount of sense. But for Jerry's sake and for Cowboys fans' sakes, who, although I hate them, are down pretty tremendously right now, I hope he's the guy because obviously the Eagles have more talent, so he's gonna have to outcoach Sirianni. So I hope he's the guy.
I do agree that the Eagles have more talent, but I actually think the best quarterback in this game is on the Cowboys.
I agree. I agree. I think CD is better than AJ Brown. I
Yeah.
think Pickens is better than Devontae Smith.
I mean, that's the key to the game right there. It's the passing game for the
Yeah.
Cowboys. All right.
Um, I didn't really have a really prepared last key. Maybe if like one of the cheerleaders like just like shows their tits. That probably get like a lot of like motivation.
Get the testosterone going.
Is that the key for
Yes.
you or for the teams?
Uh,
Who do you think benefits more from a cheerleader flashing, the Eagles or the Cowboys?
I think I think it's a distraction to the Eagles, and if I was to see it, I'd probably put money on the Cowboys
Definitely
instantly.
the Cowboys.
Well, I feel like if I played for either team, I'd probably be a little bit
The
distracted.
Eagles, they're all so low key. Like they have wives, they have kids. Like AJ Brown, I'm pretty sure has a Saquon. Like they're all like settled down. Where I feel like the Cowboys, it would really get them riled up. Like CeeDee Lamb would be riled up. George Pickens, you know.
Yeah, it's a fucking circus over there. Yeah.
I think historically, boobs have worked in the Cowboys' favor. So
That's also yeah, it's their signature.
That's true. That's
They've
true.
been doing this since like the 80s.
yeah, this was Jerry Jones
That's
wanted
part of their brand.
he wanted a circus, he wanted a reality show. Boobies would definitely do that for you.
What's a
It would
good what's a
definitely
good
detract the conversation from like a
what's a good title for that key? All
Boobs.
right.
All right, so to recap, my three were Get Spicy, Demon Time, and For Your Sake, Jerry, I hope this works.
I
Um,
had Micah Pargon, Slim Pickens, and win the push off.
I got Dak Attack, Jerry Goes, and Boobs.
all right, we're gonna throw that on a graphic for the
Nice.
Instagram. Hell yeah.
Okay.
All right, that has been your keys to the game for our season opener Thursday night. Cowboys versus Eagles. Coming up next, we have our interview with the most miserable Jets fan, which I'm very excited for. So we will see you then. All right, welcome back. We now welcome on esteemed Jets fan Luke Tess. He joins us to talk all
Thanks
things
for having me on the podcast,
New
guys.
York Football Jets. If you
Really
want
appreciate
to
it.
Just interrupting, that's fine.
introduce yourself real quick, you're welcome.
Yeah, so I'm Luke. I'm new here. Um, I don't know why this is so funny, but yeah. So as you can see by my flag, passionate New York Jets fan. Here to share my experiences. To start, I've been watching them pretty much since like 2014, and they've never made the playoffs. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at. Um, Happy to answer any questions that we have here.
Well, we appreciate that, and we appreciate you being here to share your story. I'm gonna just go ahead and start off. I want you to imagine this scenario, okay? It's week 11. Your New York Football Jets are 2-7, and you're playing the 8-1 Buffalo Bills. Can you just walk me through what that Sunday looks like for you?
Right, yeah. So usually you start off and there's a little bit of excitement for the game. I think, you know, you always get excited to watch your favorite team play, even if they suck. Me personally, every time I watch the team, they've pretty much been losing. So I'm kind of just used to that Sunday game day, all right, like it's a meaningless game. And they'll probably end up winning. I mean, they're playing what, an 8-1 Bills team. They would probably end up winning that game. Which would probably ruin whatever draft pick they have, or any chance of getting, the good quarterback in the draft. Um, they would probably win that game, right? And then, if you look on the flip side, if they had a winning record and they were playing, a 1-8 Bills team, they would probably lose that game. Or somebody would probably get hurt. So, you kind of just have to mentally prepare yourself for anything that comes your way when you're watching your team. You know, you never know what crappy thing is going to happen that week. So you just mentally prepare. So it's not as fun as it would be if you liked a good team. I'll say that.
So obviously you've been a Jets fan for 21 years. Seen them in the playoffs as like a fully grown person, never.
Right.
So do you ever wish you were born somewhere else so you could be a fan of another team? And if so, what team would that be?
I wouldn't say I've wished, but I sometimes I ask myself and I ask God, why? Um, but but you're proud of your team. You're proud to be a fan of your team. There's no other way to I couldn't see myself rooting for any other team because this is I'm
Very
a fan.
respectful answer.
Um, there would be no other team I would root for. I like football. It's fun to watch football, but when it comes to rooting for somebody, it's just constant losing. So, yeah, to go back to your question, I really couldn't see me rooting for anybody else. And that's just a testament for a lot of, Jets fans out there that they have experienced the pain and the suffering and the losing and everything in between. Um, it's a part of who we are. We're loyal. We're loyal
Oh,
and sucking.
I noticed the Eagles flag next to the Jets flag. I know that your roommate is an Eagles fan. I just have to
Yes.
imagine, I'm just wondering, like
Yes.
how at approximately like 4:05 on a Sunday, how badly do you want to punch him in the face?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty strong. Um, you know, I'm more proud to be a Jets fan than I would be for a Philly fan. I think, Philly fans, they strike a
They're
chord.
disgusting.
They really piss me off. But one of my favorite memories, I would say, as a Jets fan was in, I think it was 2023 when the Jets beat the Eagles for the first time ever. uh, I was with my roommates who all root for the Eagles, and Zach Wilson was at the helm, and we won. And I believe I think we were like maybe 500 at the time. Maybe I might have had a winning record, but that was a great experience for me. Um, and I saw them win the Super Bowl. I saw the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Um, and they weren't even that excited. It was kind of like, they don't care. It was, who cares if they're in the playoffs, they won the Super Bowl. Oh, for me, it's different. So,
Now,
um,
actually, to follow that, would you rather have sex with Jennifer Aniston or see the Jets win a Super Bowl in the next 10 years? Or actually, next 21 years?
Can I just ask a clarifying question before you answer that?
Of course.
What, like, are we talking Jennifer Aniston now, or like we
I was
talking like
gonna,
season
That's a
I was
great
three?
gonna ask
question.
that. Yeah.
That's a great follow-up.
I was going to go prime. So
So we're talking like
So
Friends.
Season 3 of Friends, season 4.
so like 99 type thing, like
Nine.
1999.
What I guess whatever's prime for you. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. That's a tough one, but I'd probably I'd probably go with the Jets Super Bowl. You know, I'm speaking.
Wow.
Respect.
Yeah,
It really shows
Yeah.
your dedication to
I think there's
the
more.
franchise.
There would be more like reward. You know,
I'm
there.
not- you know what? I think I might have to disagree with you on that one. Imagine getting to tell everyone you know that like you could tell them the Jets won the Super Bowl, but they know they were there.
Other people have that now too, though. Like all other Jets fans can also say that.
Yeah,
Not all Jets fans
if
can
you were
say
to
they.
sleep with Jennifer Aniston, that is a very exclusive fraternity you are now a part of. So
Yeah,
Ah,
no,
exclusive.
yeah. But the thing is, though, it would depend. It would depend on like how hard I was like working to like to get with Jennifer. Like if she just came to my house and like it happened, like it wouldn't be as. I feel like it wouldn't be as rewarding as it would be like spending, lifetime as a fan and like not seeing any winning, and then to finally see that happen would be pretty cool.
I think that's a very valiant answer. And I respect you greatly for it.
Yeah, you're truly showing a lot of loyalty to this franchise that has continuously let you down, and I do respect
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
I take pride in it, and I brag about it. It's really I've developed a great quality in, you know, being loyal and I guess persistent, as a fan and
with absolutely nothing to show for it.
with nothing in return. It's one of those things where you just don't get anything in return. It's just like,
Do you think that kind of shows who you are as a person? That like even if, you know, somebody is continuously like beating you and putting you down, you're still gonna show up, you're still gonna be the same guy, the same loyal guy. Would you
of
say that
course.
describes
Yeah,
you?
of course. Because for me personally, I feel that, I've been beaten down and tortured and mentally and physically just
Tee it off, yeah.
Do you think this translates
out
to
worse.
to anything outside of football? Like, do you think this how can this experience kind of translate to other things in your life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, in work and in life, you're going to be beaten down, you know, sometimes like, you know, without end, and you just got to keep going. Sometimes there could be no light at the end of the tunnel, and it's like, why would I keep going? But, you keep going, and, maybe for a little bit of hope that, one day you could, be successful. That's the type of thing, I think viewers need to understand, it's not always winning. It may never be winning, but yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe to shine a little more light here on the loyalty subject, how would you say a relationship should work? Not just between you and a team, maybe between you and a spouse. How would you say,
Really.
those qualities
Yeah.
transferred?
Well, I'm not surprised that you asked a question about
All
relationships.
right.
I love you worded that like a question.
Yeah.
So the question is what? How do you relate
I
to
got
the
this.
Jets?
Hold on.
I don't know if there was a question in there.
I think he was
What
just
what
projecting.
what makes a relationship last?
What does it have to do with the Jets?
Because he has loyalty. He knows the experience. Because he's made a relationship last with the Jets.
Toxic one, but
Yeah, a lot of times relationships are super toxic, like Frank said, and you're not always gonna get what you want. You may never get what you want, ever.
Yeah, Frank knows a thing or two.
And sometimes, like, you may have experience in this, you may not know what the hell you did wrong, but you're still there. You're still there. And you may never know why. Like, I don't know, like, why are we never good? I don't know.
Okay,
We got Aaron Rodgers. We weren't good. We had Devontae Adams. We weren't good. Why? I couldn't even tell you.
so
Why'd they
this
fire
franchise,
Salah in like the fourth week of the season last year? I don't know. Why is she mad at me? I don't know. Like, like it's so yeah.
so Tess, if you were the head coach of the New York Jets,
Mhm.
haven't made the playoffs in 14 years. I've had some seasons with high expectations, a lot of disappointment, some seasons with not so much expectation, which I think this one might be. what would you be saying to the guys in the locker room to get them ready for this season to try to break that curse?
The playoff curse
The
or the
playoff
Super Bowl
curse.
curse? Playoff curse.
The Super Bowl curse is a
Um,
whole different animal.
Yeah, that's we can't get there until we break this first curse. But
Yeah,
if you were in that locker room, how would you lead these men?
I don't know. It's tough because how do you lead these men into, some guys, they've been here years and they have never like sniffed like a 500 seasons. So it's like, what do I say? But I think, there's just got to be a certain confidence that, we're going to win every game. Um, and I think discipline is something that the team struggles with. Um, so I hope they instill discipline this season and not shoot themselves in the foot. That would be my advice. Because, time and time again, they could be in position to win games and they just do something really stupid. It's pretty common. So, yeah.
Yes. You mentioned earlier in this that like, if they did have a bad record in that hypothetical Bills game, they'd probably win the game and ruin their draft pick. So I'm going to throw another
Right.
hypothetical at you here.
Yeah.
So it's week 18, and I'm going to give you two options. I want you to pick which one you'd prefer. Would you rather be 8-8 with a 17% chance of making the playoffs going into that last week? Or would you rather be 2-14 with a 63% chance of getting the first pick?
Yeah. No, you would go 8-8. Yeah, you would go 8-8.
Really?
Because, you know, you also have to consider with the Jets draft picks, you know,
Sam Darnold,
that's never,
Zach Wilson.
who they draft. That's never really like good. We've had a few hits, but for the most part, who cares? Who cares about the first pick? You know, do
And
you think the Jets would be good with like would take the best player available with the first
well,
pick?
that was kind of my next question, actually, is obviously you're a big Penn State guy. You guys have a pretty good quarterback up there.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
big South Carolina guy. We have a pretty good quarterback down here too. And
yeah.
the Jets are rolling out with Justin Fields this year. So I have to imagine you've at least been keeping tabs on the quarterbacks in college. Is there anyone that sticks out to you the most?
Yeah, I got to stick with my guy Drew Aller. Big build, 6'5" build. He's got a rocket of an arm. I think he makes pretty good decisions for the most part. I think where he struggles is, in high pressure situations, and there won't be a lot of high pressure situations if he's playing for the Jets. So it's perfect. Yeah, I would go Drew Aller.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how like seriously legit do you think it is that Joe Namath actually sold his soul to win that Super Bowl
Good
in
question.
return for the Jets never winning? Like I'm not talking hypothetical, like you're gonna say like an 11. Like legit, how on a scale of 1 to 10, how realistic was it that that happened?
It's definitely possible because, as we know, after the Super Bowl, his career pretty much went in the can, and it was nothing to show for. Um, so I think it's definitely realistic that, they won that Super Bowl because he did some, satanic stuff. Um, so I think that's probably pretty likely because the fact they even won is pretty crazy, to be honest.
To follow that up, what year do you realistically see them returning to the playoffs?
I really like no joke, genuinely saying like based off of like things, it's got to be another 5 years.
So 20 total.
At least
They're gonna
like
get to 20.
best case scenario, it's got to be another 5 years, right? Because if you look at it, they just got a whole new GM, they got a whole new coaching staff, they don't have a quarterback, and if they draft a quarterback, they're going to have to try and develop that quarterback. And what are the odds Justin Fields works out, right? And then now they have probably the best quarterback in the NFL, if not the second in their division, a team that's always good.
You just got to
So,
assume they're never going to catch a break at this point.
so you know, the question I have for you is like, when do you see winning? Like ever? with that? Like, when do you
I mean,
see,
my philosophy is I will never ever predict the Jets to make the playoffs until I see it with my own two eyes.
right?
I think I agree with one little caveat, and that would be an extreme change, similar to the Cowboys. It would be an extreme change in ownership,
Yeah. Yeah.
aka death in the family.
Oh yeah, because he's not selling the team.
Exactly.
I think if they
I
make
think
a,
because I just lived through it with the Commanders, is it starts at the ownership, and when the owner's bad,
Oh, 100%.
you're
Yeah.
not going to win.
Yeah. There's, it's all about culture at the end of the day. And, when you have an owner that instills no culture, no foundation, who makes most of the decisions, who probably is the guy that makes most of the decisions at the end of the day, you know. And it showed when they fired their old GM, Joe Douglas, all these things came out about how bad of an owner Woody Johnson was. So, you know, it's kind of reveals the secrets about why they failed
Yeah.
because they don't have a functional owner. So, I would say at least another 5 years. I mean, it's basically they're starting from the ground up again. I think they threw all of the momentum they had in the Aaron Rodgers experiment, and that didn't work out. So
Luckily,
unless
signed Garrett
something,
Wilson, signed Sauce Gardner. That's some
right,
pieces.
there's some pieces there, but football's a team game. They got to put it together.
Well, on that note, I say we wrap up the interview. We appreciate you being so open and honest with us, Tess. I know it can't
No,
be
it's a
easy for you.
truly hard experience to
Yeah.
go and
yeah,
share it
thanks.
with the public.
It
Preach.
it is much appreciated. Your hard work and loyalty does not go unnoticed, so we appreciate you for that. And now we're gonna have some fun with
Talk fast food.
the fast food menu item draft. So how this is gonna work is we each have a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, defensive player, and head coach that will all be inanimate food objects from various fast food chains. When you're picking your item, you need to say what position they're going to be playing for your lineup. And yeah, do we want to do standard or snake?
Let's do a snake.
Okay. Should we give the
So
first
it's a
pick?
draft.
What?
It is a draft, yes.
It's a
Draft.
Yes,
draft.
we will let the guests have
Yeah,
the
I
first
say
one.
we let our guests have the first pick.
We can go in order.
What's
Okay, yeah.
I think we're all mixed up.
Yeah, it's all mixed there. You
Strange.
fucking idiot. Yeah,
Okay.
please.
So I can begin.
You may begin.
Okay. So with the first pick, as a quarterback, I think you have to take the McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese.
Okay. I think that's
It sets the standard. I would say it sets the standard for all types of fast food burgers. When you think of fast food, I believe that you think of burgers and fries, right? Most majority of fast food places have burgers, sandwiches, and the double quarter pounder with cheese is,
It's a
probably
beefy one, though. It's a beefy guy for
probably
the quarterback.
the best bang for your buck in terms of fast food. And that's kind of a guy that I want, leading. I think like that's the hearty part of the meal right there
Mhm.
is the double quarter pounder with cheese. And then the fries are just on the side.
I
Never had one.
So they lead the meal. So
I think
they
it's a
lead the
great pick.
team. So I would go with the double quarter pounder first.
Okay. Who's up next?
I'll go next.
Well, all right.
With my first pick, I'm taking a running back out of Taco Bell. I'm taking the Baja Blast.
Ooh, I had a
think-
receiver.
I think he is shifty. I think he is electric. I think he has a lot of speed. I think he has a lot of drip, and I just think he's just like a jukebox.
I think that's a phenomenal pick.
A great pick.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wait, can I just add what?
Now let me
what do
go
you
ahead.
think-
Go
What
ahead.
do you think? What do you think sets him as a running back rather than a receiver? Because in my head, when I was writing down my list, I was like, "Ooh, he's shifty. He's kind of a spark plug. He might not be the biggest guy ever, but he could definitely."
Okay, so I have him on my board as wide receiver / running back. I just thought there was a lot more wide receivers in this draft class, so I figured I would put him at running back. He's a little undersized, a little smaller, shifty. I think I want to get the ball in his hands. as much as I can, and I think you can do that with a running back.
Tess, you had a question?
Yeah, now let me just ask you, is the Baja Blast a fast food item? Because
Absolutely.
I
Yes,
could
you
go to the
idiot.
I could go to the grocery store and get a Baja Blast.
You
Yeah,
can
with a
also
Taco
get
Bell
burger
logo
patties.
on it.
Right, but it's
I
not that
can
like I can't go
I
like
can go
you know
to I can go to the
you
grocery
don't
store.
have to get it in the drive-through or
I can get a
at a
box at the
specific
grocery
location.
store of White Castle burgers. Do you think that's a fast food item?
Good point.
Yes, but
Good
and
rebuttal.
more specifically, they're probably frozen. They're not fresh off the grill, so you would
I
have to
mean, the Baja
constitute.
Blast fresh out of the fountain is way better than a Baja Blast in a bottle from the store.
Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with you.
Jason, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure, sure. So I'm gonna go defense here, actually. Okay.
Okay.
A guy that reminds me of Lawrence Taylor. All right. We got the Wendy's Baconator.
Ooh.
Meaty. We got double meats on that baby.
I don't
You
know.
got two patties. You got bacon also, okay? You want a meaty guy out there, ready to attack.
Okay, I like that
I
pick.
like the pick.
Good pick. All right, for my first overall pick, my 1-1 actually, I'm going to go quarterback out of McDonald's. I'm going to go with the sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle. I think he's the perfect dual threat player. He's the
I
perfect
wasn't
blend
even
of
thinking
sweet
breakfast.
and savory. Everybody says, your quarterback needs to be the leader of the team. Breakfast, most important meal of the day. I think it's a perfect combination. I think he fits into any offense. He's very versatile. And I think
Love
he's
that pick.
he's the kind of guy that I want leading my football team.
I
I
love
love
that
that
pick.
pick.
I
I
mean,
didn't even think of breakfast
you
items.
got the sweet and the savory aspects of that player,
I also ate one this
and
morning and it was phenomenal. So
yeah, you got the sweet and
Reliable.
savory aspect, the fluffiness, just a fluffy guy, good guy, um, and the egg. I mean, we could talk about the egg on that guy.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's the type of guy that guys really rally around too. I feel like they play for that guy.
hmm
The hash brown, you
The
know.
hash brown plays for him. The
Yeah.
coffee plays for him.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah. They like you can't but he's the guy he's the catalyst for
Yeah,
that
yeah. They're a hash brown and a coffee from McDonald's is nothing
without the McGriddle.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right. And
All right.
then in that same vein, I went with a little quarterback head coach combination platter here. Also out of McDonald's, my head coach, I'm going with the McChicken. This is a guy, he doesn't get too high, he doesn't get too low. He's very level-headed. It's a great combination with the McGriddle. You're having McGriddle breakfast, you're having McChicken lunch. I think they pair incredibly together. And so I think with those two, you get the coach right, you get the quarterback right, everything else kind of just falls into place. So I'm going McChicken at head coach with my second overall pick.
Top tier item. That's
Yeah, I was gonna go head coach next also. I was gonna go with the Burger King Whopper, all right? Listen here, we got a traditional, it's a basic burger, it's a traditional, you want your traditional coach, a little chunky. I like my coaches chunky. I don't know about y'all. Bill Belichick, we like him a little chunky. But that traditional gameplay mindset that he has around him, and everything feeds off of him. He's a traditional burger. What came after that? You had the double burger. And all these other sprouts all came from this guy. Mastermind right there.
yeah.
I think that's a good pick.
With my second pick, I'm going to take a quarterback here, also out of McDonald's, the Chicken Big Mac. Now I know he was a limited
Wow.
timer,
Wow.
but he was a phenomenal
Wow.
limited
He's
time
a
item.
great player.
Wow.
When I was going over my draft board earlier today with my assistant general manager,
Wow.
and she brought up a great point, kind of like prime Carson Wentz, just phenomenal player, MVP caliber, could win you a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, he got taken off the menu, but I'm drafting for peak here.
Uh-huh.
And I think the peak of the Chicken Big Mac, it was a run I could never imagine happening again.
I consider Chicken Big Mac over the McChicken. My one concern though is, your best ability is availability.
However, I think
Yeah, we need longevity.
There's no longevity in that player.
Yeah.
there is not at the peak.
You might have one good year, one good time period with that guy, and then God knows where he's going to be. He could be partying.
Retires mid-game, you know?
He could be
You know,
retired. He could be out partying. You have
these
no
are all
idea.
concerns that I have been thinking about, and I'm willing to take that risk because of just the pure greatness of that menu item.
Right. And I think the good thing about that item is, it just reignites that kind of, that fire, I want McDonald's, like
Yeah.
sometimes, the everyday basis of the items, you're not really, why would I go there? I've had it before, but
Right.
the chicken Big Mac kind of could
Uh-huh.
light a fire under your team's, ass, we got to go,
Mhm.
we got to win. So
Sense of urgency.
I think the
I
chicken Big
feel
Mac would make a hell of an interim head coach. I think, extenuating circumstances, you might have a pretty solid team, but head coach isn't available end of the season. He can come in, win you those last three games, maybe make a playoff run.
if we're
But
looking at QB comparison here, I'm seeing more of a Johnny Manziel, right? He had a great college career, you know? But
Well, no,
what
he was playing in the pros. He was in the Golden Arches.
oh,
what?
oh. All right, pass your second
Okay,
round.
I'm sticking on, the McDonald's trend here. I'm gonna go with my running back to be the 10-piece chicken nugget.
Mm,
Um, well, what is there to say about a guy like the 10-piece nugget? I mean, are you starving? I'll have a 10-piece nugget. Do I want a whole burger? Maybe not. I think it's just like a versatile kind of item where you know, it really doesn't depend on the mood. And, if the burger's not working, like if my quarterback's not having a good day, I have the chicken nugget to fall back on. The chicken nugget can do the job. The chicken nugget could, you know, score some
You
points
know,
for me.
Volume player too. Thrives off
And
high volume
right.
usage. Yep.
And he's a beefy guy. He's got a lot of protein in him, you know, and the calorie count, is something to be considered too. Really not a high calorie item for the most part. So I think he's quick, versatile, can get the job done when the other things aren't working for you. So yeah, with my second pick, I'm taking McDonald's chicken nuggets, 10 piece.
you
Okay.
think those are the best nuggets in general?
I do personally.
Wendy's.
When I was gonna say Wendy's, yeah.
Okay, and Tess, your third rounder.
Right. My third rounder, I'm gonna go with the head coach here. I'm gonna go with the deluxe Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
that such a leader of an item for that restaurant. When you go to Chick-fil-A, your options are really limited. I feel like they don't have that versatile of a team. But the classic, deluxe Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich is always there.
Mhm.
People want that sandwich. So, he's pretty much the leader of that menu. So who else would I want to lead my team than the deluxe chicken sandwich? So my head coach, I'm going to go Chick-fil-A deluxe chicken sandwich.
That was on my board. That's a
That
phenomenal.
was also on my board. Damn.
So I'm gonna have to pivot here a little bit. I'm gonna pair up my running back with another item out of Taco Bell in my wide receiver position. I'm gonna take the Doritos Locos Tacos.
Oh, that was my next pick.
Absolute
Damn.
safe guy. You throw him the ball, you know he's catching the ball.
Hmm.
You throw him the ball
Speedy.
at 4 a.m. at night, you know he's catching the ball. Always reliable, never fails. Little bit of everything on that thing. And it's not just a plain, simple taco. It's a Doritos Locos taco. He's got that extra level, that extra kick.
What's
You know?
crazy is you have, I believe, the Baja Blast at running back and the Locos
Yeah.
Taco at wide receiver. There was an alternate reality where I had those two, but flipped because I was just about to take the Doritos Locos Taco at running back.
Yeah.
I think he's more
And
of
you
a
know,
one guy, so I want him touching the ball as much.
Smaller guy, yeah.
see the team chemistry here, I think they've played together for a long time. They know each other. Could even interchange positions if they have to.
Yeah.
We got a lot of versatility on this field.
Okay. Jason.
Jason?
All right, I'm gonna go wide receiver now. I'm gonna go with out of Sonic. Haven't heard this one yet. The foot long chili cheese dog. I'm going height here. You know,
Reach.
a Calvin Jo- a Calvin Johnson kind of player out here, right? I like nice little kick to him, extra speed right there. So yeah,
Okay. I'm also going to go a receiver out of Sonic. I think you missed here. because I think I'm taking the most sure-handed guy in the draft, and that's the Sonic Corn Dog. That guy is there when you need him. I think my McGriddle is checking down to the corn dog all day. He's finding them for the goal line fades. He is just the most sure-handed guy you can get.
Yeah,
And
he's built like a chode, all right, pal? Like,
yep,
The corn dog really just doesn't do it for me.
he doesn't do it,
Terrible.
but he's just you can put him in so many different packages. You can move him around the field. You want to put mustard on him? Sure. You want to put whipped cream on him? Sure.
that's not.
He can do whatever you need him to. And I think Sonic also has the best corn dogs in the game. I don't think that's up for debate.
What position is
Also,
that player?
but you can get him at a bargain most of the time too. So we're talking about roster construction here. He's not gonna
This is a
spend
draft,
a high
though.
price tag.
Yeah, what are you talking?
Well, I'm thinking for the future. He's not going to demand a high price tag, but he is going to
What
get the
position
job.
were you taking that player?
He's my receiver.
Mm,
I think that's
Terrible.
terrible.
Yes.
That
interesting.
might be the bust of the draft.
I-
I disagree. And then this is another guy who I had at the receiver position, but all my running backs have been taken. So he's going to be shifting over to running back, but I think it still plays. This is going to be a controversial one too. So hold your horses. But I'm going to go with the chicken fry out of Burger King.
I
I think
love
that
that.
this is a guy. I think that this is a guy that maybe didn't have put the best film on tape in college, but I think I'm drafting him in a lower round, and I think he's going to return at a high value for me. Another volume guy, another guy. You want the ball in his hands, but he's not going to be the focal point of this offense. But he's going to be there when you need him. So
Overrated. You ever open up a chicken fry? That thing is the skinniest thing in the world, all right?
Chicken
What do you
fries
think? This
are
guy's gonna like break like a twig.
That's a
Yeah,
good
but there's
point.
like 7 of them in the box.
yeah, yeah. When you come at
So
one,
what? We're putting 7 running backs on the field? All right, my running back's not that much better, but we're going an Arby's curly fry. Best
interesting.
fry in the game, all right? That's why I have him on top here. Nice little squiggly, so he's shifty, he's got a lot of I'm blanking on the word here. Give me a word for like being shifty.
Elusive.
Shifty.
Elusive. There we go. That's what I was looking for. NCAA ratings here. Yeah, I need an elusive guy here. Shifty. Got the spin move going. All right. He's got the spin move going.
Yeah.
Mm,
That's why I take him.
but I don't know if the spin move works. Sometimes there's a little sag there.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That's a good point. It's not always the tightest.
It's not always the
You like him
best
tight,
looking
huh?
spin move.
Yeah.
He also doesn't really make anyone around him better. They're all
Right.
kind of
You
bad.
could argue that
What do you mean it doesn't make him better?
Is definitely Wendy's crinkle cut might be shiftier.
I feel like any French fry in this position makes anything better. You know what? What is a meal? A burger, a fry, a drink.
Yeah, but I think the meals he's been surrounding himself with are pretty shitty.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah, they are.
Sal, your fourth.
Yeah, I
round.
don't think he's very well coached, but all right.
For my next pick, I'm going to take a head coach. I'm going to partner it up with the chicken Big Mac at quarterback. I'm just going to take the McDonald's fries.
Mm,
I mean, top tier fry. You get all the fries in the room. He thinks he's the smartest guy, and he's absolutely correct. Also, pairing him up with the chicken Big Mac. I'm not getting a chicken Big Mac without getting fries. I'm even putting the fries on the chicken Big Mac. They have chemistry together. They work very well together. Best fry in the game. I think he's a very smart fry, a very
concerned.
innovative fry.
My only concern there is, is he a little too one-dimensional? Like, obviously a great offensive mind, but does he have the defensive chops to
Yep.
back that up? This is the head coach we're talking about here.
I mean, he can go on a burger. He can go in some ketchup. He can go in some buffalo sauce. He could even go in an ice cream. He pairs with everyone. He meshes with everyone. He's a great chemistry guy. He makes everyone around him better. And I'm not going to McDonald's without getting some fries.
And
You have 2 minutes.
yeah, you have
Last 2 picks. Okay, for defense, I'm actually gonna go with the large cherry limeade with nerds from Sonic. Now, the reason I say that is because if you drink a whole large cherry limeade with nerds, there's no room for anything else. Like you're gonna be done for the day. You're not eating anything else, right? So I think he's a pretty good run stopper. If I had to say myself, there really is no passing game either when you have that guy, when you have that type of defense. So that'll be my defense. And then my wide receiver, who's a player who I'm surprised has not been picked yet, falling pretty far, is the Chick-fil-A waffle fry, which in my opinion is the best fry in the game. Unique, special. You can't get it anywhere else. And if you put it at a position like wide receiver, it's always going to be there, always going to be scoring points for you. And it's a fantastic item. Quick, I can eat the whole thing in like 5 minutes.
What do you have to
I
say
think
about
it's
the
great
allegations
play.
he's been under?
I was unaware of any allegations towards this player.
The 15-year-old.
No, no, we did our research and we did our background checks, and he was very good in the interviews. So
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
No, I think that's a great pick.
Yeah, actually, I was considering him for head coach.
I
It's
think my
between
team is.
him and
I
the
didn't even
McDonald's
think
guy.
to put Bryce on my board.
You just didn't do your research.
I'm just more of I think there's better complementary players in the league than Fries. But I'm also not a huge Fry guy.
Okay.
So.
So for my defense, I wanted like a bend don't break mentality. You guys, you're in a big group. You want to order something. You don't want something that's going to break and no one's going to like it. But you're obviously not going to satisfy everyone's needs. So kind of meet in the middle. A lot of field goals, not touchdowns. So I'm going with the Domino's cheese pizza.
Ooh,
I think it's
wow.
just an absolute solid item. No one's going to complain. No one's going to be extremely happy, but you're not getting that downside. You're not letting up 30 points a game. You're going to hold them to a solid 18, 20 points.
All right. I think that player has had PED issues in the past. That's a family feeder item. You can't really feed the family with like
I mean, you could always order two.
one. You can't really feed your family with like a Chick-fil-A, chicken nugget or whatever. But you could feed the whole family with a Domino's pie.
Yeah, and I think
So,
it's just a
what do you
very
have to say about that?
I think that's a pro. I think that's really good. You
Oh,
can
that's
the entire defense can get fed off this one item.
Okay. Jason.
yeah. Struggling there. I'm trying to get a QB here. I know I was left in shambles, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with the gut. I like the Popeyes chicken sandwich better than the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich.
Wow.
Okay, it's
Phenomenal.
explosive. All right, he's got more flavor. He's got more flavor to him, more qualities. Yeah, and yeah, if we're looking at QB comparisons here, I'm looking at him as more of a
You're taking him as a QB? Sorry, I missed it.
yeah,
Okay.
leader. He's a leader.
Mhm.
Okay.
This is a great value in the 5th round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see Chick-fil-A maybe more as a I don't know. I'm trying to think of who a good QB comparison here. I feel like they're like rivals, the two of them, Maybe more of like a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes kind of fit. I think both of them. I think the Popeyes it's got a little bit more than them.
I think the sauce really makes that just a phenomenal item.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Stands
going to
out.
go for my defense in the final pick of the draft. I'm going to go kind of in the same vein as Tested. I think you went a little conservative with your defensive pick. I wanted stone cold killers on my defense. I want somebody that is we're not bending at all. I want stopped at the line of scrimmage, play after play after play, just dominating. And nobody does that more than the Popeyes biscuit. You are not getting through the Popeyes biscuit. He might not be the flashiest player, but god damn, is he going to stuff the run like you've never seen before.
There's no way you just said that.
I
Bro,
said,
Don't you think that defense is kind of incomplete though without the gravy?
well, I think that's the point. The gravy kind of loosens, the gravy's like the hot chick on the sidelines. It's distracting everybody.
Wow,
Without the gravy,
that's disrespectful.
that's great.
without the gravy,
That's
the biscuit
disrespectful.
is strictly business. There is no enjoyment whatsoever. But I'll be damned if you're running the ball.
Oh,
Popeyes biscuit and the corn dog. That's
Don't you think it's a little heavy, a little slow? Like if the Baja Blast and the Doritos Locos Tacos are running downfield, there's no way that
Well,
this
that's not
defense
the
can catch
position.
up.
Where the Popeyes biscuit is getting to the quarterback before they get downfield because he's a dominant force.
That's a disgusting neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't think you're winning that much games here.
I think me and Tess by far have the best two teams.
I think you're full of it because
Nobody
obviously
picked the Popeyes bucket of or not Popeyes, the KFC bucket of chicken.
That was actually what I was going to take for my
I
defense.
didn't realize he was on the board.
Yeah,
Um,
I considered that for my defense.
I
That'd be
mean
a
there's
good too.
just so
Yeah.
many options. We could have done a full 22 man roster.
When when you said Sonic, Frank, I really thought you were going Cinnabon. I'm surprised, or Cinesnacks. I'm surprised he went undrafted.
ooh,
I'm not sure
the
Citizen.
Cine Snacks.
That's a
Are we
good
st-
secondary right there.
I think a dessert could maybe come off the bench in a spark plug scenario, but are we starting a dessert?
If they were going to start a dessert, it would be the Cinesnack. Maybe the Frosty.
Interesting. Anybody else that you guys had on your board that you think is worth mentioning? I thought about
You guys took a
Chiking.
lot of it.
I thought about Chiking for quarterback,
I actually considered that also.
but I worry
Chiking,
about his availability as well.
Chiking.
Yeah.
I considered
Nobody
it.
said the McDonald's Sprite. No,
I mean, I
nobody likes it.
considered it. I only had one beverage on my board, and it was the Baja Blast.
I will say that whoever took the McDonald's nugs way overlooked the Wendy's nugs.
I disagree.
Just
I
just
think
such a superior nug.
I think pound for pound, the McDonald's and Nugs are a better player.
Also, South the McDonald's fries. I don't know. I think that's like third best fry in the game.
I think that's
I think it is the best fry in the game.
you went with the
Third
Arby's.
best. Arby's is
No,
the
I
best fry
I
in the
think
game.
McDonald's has the best fry in the game.
I think
I
you
disagree.
could tell me McDonald's, Wendy's, or Chick-fil-A, and I wouldn't argue with you.
I
Have you
think
had an
all three of
Arby's?
those do very, very different things.
Yeah,
And they're all great. I agree with you. I think
I think the
McDonald's is
Chick-fil-A
definitely the
waffle
most artificial.
fries.
I think
That's
out
what
of those three, I'd probably put the Chick-fil-A last. But you can make no, but I understand the argument for them being first or second. Me personally,
They're fantastic. They're
it's
fantastic.
like Mahomes, Burrow,
They're
and Allen.
so
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Anything else?
All right, guys. Well, thank you for having me. This was
Anybody
fun.
wants to say before we get out of here?
Thought that was a great draft. Great
You know, you really
Is there
gotta.
going to be a vote for who has the best team? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, we'll throw it on socials.
We can put it up to our 10 fans.
Yeah, we'll get people to vote.
Just a word of advice for everybody. You just gotta put people in their place. That's the motivation of the week.
And everybody remember what your roster is because we're going to throw it on a graphic for voting
Oh
purposes.
shit! Yeah, I should probably write that.
So, yeah, just remember what you took. And yeah, that's going to be it for this episode of Milk the Clock. Big shout out to Tess for coming on for this episode. We hope to have him on
Thank you.
pretty consistently during this football season.
Thank you.
Rooting for the Jets. Hopefully you're not
Yeah,
that.
hopefully we're back in a couple weeks and they won. And
Yep. And as for the rest of us, we will be back later on this week to preview the rest of the Sunday games. Of course, this is analysis you can only get here. Nobody offers the sort of expertise that we do, so we hope you guys stick along with us. And yeah, thanks for watching.